Every once in a while, hip hop produces a moment so pure it feels predestined. A record that arrives not through marketing or hype, but through divine timing. Jay Electronica's Exhibit C was one of those moments. When it dropped in late 2009, the world quite didn't know who Jay Electronica was. He wasn't signed, he didn't have an album, there was no flashy rollout, just a mysterious MC from New Orleans who spoke like a prophet and rapped like scripture. But when it hit, it didn't just land, it shook the culture. This wasn't just your average lyrical showcase, it was a spiritual broadcast, a survival story, a sermon. Jay Electronica didn't just deliver a verse, he delivered a hip-hop revelation. Before Exhibit C, Jay was a name whispered on forums and in ciphers like a kind of a underground myth. He had a few standout records, especially Act 1, Eternal Sunshine, The Pledge, which used the Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind score with no drums, something unheard of at the time. He was known for being enigmatic, poetic, and almost otherworldly, but what made him fascinating wasn't just his sound, it was his silence. He moved like a ghost, rare interviews, appearances, but somehow every bar he released felt like it had been studied, edited, and blessed by ancestors before he even recorded it. So when Just Blaze, one of the greatest producers of his generation, dropped that beat and those ad-libs started, the world kind of paused. It wasn't just another drop, it was a manifestation. You could hear something spiritual in the tone, the conviction of a man who had been overlooked, underestimated, and possibly forgotten, but who never lost his purpose. Exhibit C plays like a book of verses, not from the Bible or Quran, but from the book of the block, where pain and prophecy coexist. Jay doesn't brag, he doesn't flex, he witnesses. He tells you about sleeping on trains, about being homeless, about chasing his purpose when he had nothing, but there's no pity in his voice, only perspective. Every line drips with gratitude and grace as if he's looking back on his struggle and realizing it was all preparation. That's what separates this record from other records. He's not trying to impress you with his suffering. He's trying to teach you through it. This record captures a universal truth, that greatness often comes from the lowest points and that faith is sometimes the only currency that'll get you through. It's rare in hip-hop for a song to feel this personal yet this universal, but Jay found that balance, the intersection of intellect, spirituality, and street survival. With that being said, that last verse has went down as one of the best in hip-hop history. They call me Jay Electronica. Fuck that. Call me Jay Elec-Hanukkah, Jay Elec-Yarmulke, Jay Elec-Ramadan, Muhammad as-salaam-alaikum, RasoulAllah Subhanahu wa ta'ala through your monitor. And let's not overlook the other half of this miracle, Just Blaze. The beat for Exhibit C is damn near holy ground. That Billy Stewart sample, Cross My Heart, was transformed into a gospel explosion. You can feel the church in it, the pain, the triumph, and the thunder. It's the kind of beat that doesn't just support the rapper, it anoints him. Blaze built something that felt both gritty and divine. It's dusty vinyl and cathedral echoes at the same time. Every snare feels like a heartbeat, every horn sounds like victory. And that's what made this collaboration so powerful. Jay didn't rap over the beat, he rose inside of it. The production and performance became one continuous pulse, a sermon over soul music. He continues the verse on a more secular level. My Uzi still weighs a ton, check the barometer. I'm hotter than the motherfucking sun, check the thermometer. Jay Electronica's cadence on Exhibit C is masterful. It's confident but never loud, assertive but never arrogant. His voice moves like a storyteller's, slowing down to let you catch the weight of his message and then accelerating when emotion kicks in. He switches his pockets effortlessly, using rhythm as a weapon but content as the blade. And the writing is dense, layered, and sacred. Every line is packed with references from history to religion, film, literature, and street culture, but none of it feels forced. He's showing off how smart he is, but he's showing you how connected everything is. He made hip-hop sound intellectual without losing its edge. He proved that you could speak about spirituality, pain, and purpose and still sound like you belong in the cipher. I got a lot of family, you got a lot of fans. That's why the people got my back like the Verizon man. I play the back and fade the black and then devise a plan. Out in London smoking, vibing while I ride the tram, giving out that raw food to lions disguised as lambs. The wordplay is nuts. He kills when he challenges the extent of the lines of rhyme, meaning like he adds and omits spaces to place a word, only to fill it with a syllable from another word, sometimes from another bar. The best MCs do it, and it's always refreshing and amazing when it works as well as it does in this verse. When Exhibit C dropped, it was like an alarm clock for lyricism. The 2000s had been heavy with club records and commercial rap, but here came a reminder of what made the art form great in the first place: the power of words. Suddenly people were talking about bars again. Heads were rewinding, decoding, and debating every line. It felt like the early 90s energy was reborn for a new generation. For a brief moment, lyricism was front page news again. And it wasn't just fans who took notice. Jay-Z called, Diddy called, Nas gave props. The industry didn't just see Jay Electronica as an artist, they saw him as a vessel. He'd become the voice of purity in a time of excess, the balance between street wisdom and divine insight, a modern griot who made the intellectual sound as dangerous as any gun bar. One of the reasons Exhibit C is so hard is because Jay Electronica never separates his spirituality from his art. He doesn't talk about faith as a decoration, but a foundation. You can feel the discipline in his delivery, the humility in his storytelling, the reverence in his tone. It's as if he's not rapping just to rap to people, he's rapping through them. There's like a mystical quality to his writing, something that makes his words feel preordained, like he's been chosen to deliver a message larger than himself. And that message at its core is about resilience, faith through struggle and purpose through pain. That's why the record never feels dated, because no matter the era, anyone can relate to the feeling of being down and still believing in what you're meant to do. He ends the verse like he should, letting these hip-hop streets know that he knows what he just did. And by the time they get their seats hot and deploy all their henchmen to come at me from the treetops, I'm chilling out at Tweet Stop, building by the millions. My light is brilliant. After Exhibit C, the world waited. Fans expected an album, any follow-up, a tour, something to continue the momentum. But Jay Electronica didn't move like the industry expected. He disappeared again. No constant drops, no interviews, no oversaturation. To some, it was frustrating, but to others, it only deepened the legend. He wasn't chasing fame, he was guarding purpose. He'd already delivered what most rappers never do, a verse that outlives them. When a written testimony finally dropped over a decade later, it didn't replace Exhibit C, it kinda completed it. The song was never meant to be a stepping stone, but was meant to be a monument. And it did more than bring back lyricism. It reinforced feeling into hip-hop. It reminded the culture that storytelling and spirit still matter, that a record can move you and not just make you move, that bars can teach, heal, and testify. You can hear its influence in artists like Rhapsody, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, all MCs who balance intellect, emotion, spirituality, and struggle. A lot of them owe something to the spark that Jay Electronica reignited. And yet, Exhibit C remains untouchable. It's not about hits or sales, it's about impact. It's one of those rare tracks where time doesn't erode the power, it amplifies it. That last verse, whether you call it the second or the third, lives in your memory. It's a reminder that hip-hop, at its best, is truth music. It's scripture written through struggle. He gave us one of the greatest verses in rap history, not because of the punchlines or metaphors, but because of conviction. Because when he spoke, he made you believe. The beauty of Exhibit C isn't about being perfect, it's about being purposeful. It's about faith, focus, and fire. It's about finding your voice when nobody's listening and using it anyway. So when you press play on it the next time, turn the lights down and really listen, not just to the beat and not just to the bars, but to the energy behind them both. Because Jay Electronica didn't just make a simple record, he built a sermon. And some sermons only need to be preached once to last forever.